Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the December webinar series on exploring holistic therapies. My name is Melissa Vantile, and I'll be one of the hosts today. And I'm very honored and happy to have two lovely facilitators joining us and speaking about two really interesting conversations. We're going to be hearing from Karen McNeil, who is a Reiki master from Balance Reiki Niagara. And then when she is finished, we're going to have Janet Hayward, who is going to discuss with us the benefits of drumming as holistic therapy. As always, these presentations will be available after our webinar. They will be uploaded on our website and on our YouTube resource library. And all of the facilitators' contact information will be in the presentations if you feel the need to have any reason to reach out. After each presentation, we'll give a little bit of time to go through questions. You can put your questions in the chat box and we'll read them out. So sit back and enjoy, and thank you so much for joining us. And I'm going to hand it over to Karen McNeil from Balance Reiki Niagara. Welcome, Karen.
Thank you. Thank you for having me today. It's very good. Hi, good afternoon, everybody. I just want to introduce myself. I'm Karen, and I'm the founder of Balance Reiki Niagara. I've been practicing Reiki for 5 years, and I've just actually started teaching it as well. So I'll give you a little insight into what Reiki is, how it helps healing, the benefits of Reiki. So just sit back and listen. Okay, so what is Reiki? Lots of people have heard of Reiki, but nobody really knows what it is unless they research it or they've been for a Reiki healing session. So Reiki is an ancient Japanese energy healing technique that promotes relaxation, reduces stress and anxiety through gentle touch. Reiki practitioners use their hands to deliver energy to your body, improving the flow and balance of your energy to support healing. Reiki is used for many things and help to prevent dis-ease of the body. Reiki means Rei means universal, and Ki, they refer to Ki as energy. So in Japanese, it's Reiki. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of the history of Reiki. When I teach a Reiki level 1 class, we really go deep into the history of Reiki. It's a lot, so I've just kind of summarized it really quickly just to give you some insight into the history of Reiki. So Mikao Usui, he founded Reiki, but Reiki, as it is practiced today, dates back to the techniques of him in Japan in the early 1920s. Usui's intense spiritual practices culminated in profound revelation that led to the practice now commonly called Reiki. This realization most likely occurred in 1922. Chujiro Hayashi. Hayashi worked with Usui to teach the healing practices from Usui's larger body of teaching so that they could be more widely taught. Hayashi opened a Reiki clinic in Tokyo where 16 practitioners gave treatments in pairs. Hawayo Takada, a first-generation Japanese American, came to Hayashi's clinic for relief from a number of medical conditions. Months of treatment restored Takada's health, and she became a devoted student. Takada brought Reiki to Hawaii in 1937 and eventually to the US. Takada practiced and taught Reiki for 40 years before she began training Reiki masters. Reiki master is just someone else who can teach Reiki. Since Takada's death in December 1980, her 22 Reiki masters have spread her teachings. Reiki has become very popular and is now practiced around the world. Also, just so you know, Reiki is not attached to any certain religion. Many different religions practice Reiki. So I just thought I would give you a little insight into why I do Reiki. I had a job. I worked in the school board for 15 years, and I don't now. This is what I do now. But since a young age, I've always been very intuitive. I lost my dad when I was 13, and I could always feel his energy around me throughout my life. I knew I could always call on him for guidance when needed. I had heard of Reiki years ago and started in my early 30s to receive Reiki treatments, but very sporadically. I didn't really know what I was feeling at the time, I guess. But the major shift in my life was the year I turned 40. I was sitting at my daughter's soccer game in Burlington, and I felt a crushing feeling in my chest and my side and my back. Fear hit me hard as I had lost my dad to a massive heart attack at the young age of 42. And I'd always felt that this was going to be my destiny. I went straight to the hospital, and it was true. I was suffering from a heart attack. I spent a week in the cardiac care unit and told by the doctors that my heart attack was not hereditary, and it was actually very common in women my age and caused by stress. Like, that shocked me when I found that out. I for sure thought it was hereditary. I for sure thought it was the same thing, but it was brought on by stress. I was sent home to resume life as it was, but nothing felt the same for me. I fell down this rabbit hole, worried about health and death and my family. I had never before experienced these feelings. I cried often. I was full of anxiety, depression, and fear. I decided that I was the only one who could pull me out of it. And I started seeing a therapist and a naturopathic doctor, and I started with regular Reiki treatments. It took around a year and a half, but I did finally start seeing a light at the end of the tunnel. My Reiki sessions, I felt so much better and more grounded after receiving the Reiki treatments. And even then, I was still wondering, like, why do I feel better? How do I feel better? But I didn't care because I just felt better. And I believe that they were a major component on my road to recovery and wellness. Life isn't always easy. At that time, I never imagined that I would feel happiness or joy again. It takes time, work, and determination, but that feeling didn't last forever. We all need to slow down, relax, and take the time to learn what our body and soul need. Looking back, I think I'm fortunate to have had the chance to learn that. Since my experience, I've become more grounded, more spiritual, and more intuitive as to what my body needs. We all need to experience the deep relaxation, clarity, and healing that can be achieved with Reiki treatments. So, how does Reiki help us? We're all alive because of life energy, or ki, as it's called, is flowing through us. Energy flows within the physical body through pathways called chakras, meridians, and nadis, and can also be present and pass directly through organs and tissues of the body. It also floats around as in a field of energy called the aura. The free and balanced flow of energy is the cause of well-being. Ki nourishes the organs and cells of the body, supporting them in their vital functions. When the flow of healthy ki is disrupted, it causes diminished functioning in one or more of our organs and tissues of the body. Therefore, it is the disruption in the flow of healthy energy that can contribute to illness. Energy is responsive to thoughts and feelings. When we have positive, optimistic thoughts, we increase our flow of energy, and that causes us to feel better. However, when we have negative thoughts, our energy is disrupted and diminished, and we don't feel as good. When negative thoughts get lodged in the subconscious mind, they create a disruption in the flow of healthy energy. Reiki clears, straightens, and heals the energy pathways, allowing healthy energy to flow in a natural way. We all, I think, have those days when you have like one thing go wrong, and then you're like, why did that happen? I get stuck at every red light, like all those things. And then you notice through the day that one negative thing leads to two, and it leads to three, leads to four. But if we can catch that negative and flip it, it stops. It doesn't actually happen all day long. So it's kind of like catching your thoughts. Your energy introduces you before you even speak. Energy is a real thing, and everything needs energy. like we've all been in a room, I think, with people, and then one person comes in. You can tell right away if that person's happy. You could tell if they're in a terrible mood. You can tell, you can feel people's energy. And like if you've ever felt just something like that, then you're already more aware than you think of energy. What we feel and think on the inside reflects us on the outside. We have the ability to change this. If we don't like how we feel on the inside, we have control over that. We don't have control over a lot in life, but we have control over our feelings. Benefits of Reiki. Reiki has so many health benefits, benefiting the mind, the body, and the soul. Who would benefit from Reiki? I think everybody would benefit from Reiki, but people come to me all the time for um, depression, anxiety, pain. It's just Reiki is great for individual self-care for everyone, whether you are a patient, a caregiver, or just learning to make your health a priority. Reiki calms and heals the mind, body, and soul, and in turn improves aspects of your life. People seek out Reiki for many different reasons: pain management, anxiety, depression, addiction, PTSD, and to help promote healing. Keep in mind that Reiki is a form of complementary therapy, which means that it's intended to work alongside, not in place of, other medical and therapeutic techniques. Reiki is so balancing to the system overall, it can potentially benefit any situation, but should not be used as a substitute for other treatments your healthcare providers have prescribed. I just read a book. It's like Medical Reiki, and there's so many hospitals, states, doctors that have a Reiki practitioner working with them. So when they give you a diagnosis, or you just had such a major change in your health and they send you home and you're lost at home because you don't know where to turn at that point, it's just so beneficial for that. I volunteer at Wellsprings and caregivers, like it's just very, it can never cause harm. It's never going to hurt anybody. So, all about the chakras. I think most people have heard of chakras. We have more than seven, but there's seven main chakras that people kind of know, I guess, would be your crown chakra, third eye, throat, heart, solar plexus, sacral, and your root chakra. When somebody comes to me for a Reiki session, I kind of base like these seven areas and then work around them. So, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the chakras. So the root chakra, it's your first chakra. It's at the base of your spine. It symbolizes the sense of safety and security. And symptoms of a blocked root chakra are problems in your lower body, sciatica, nerve pain, insecurity, the feeling of being unstable, inability to stay focused, lack of energy, not feeling grounded, and lethargic. Next is your sacral, or your otherwise known as the navel chakra. It's located just below the navel, symbolizes creativity, flexibility, pleasure, and emotions. Symptoms of a blockage could be constipation, urinary and kidney issues, back pain, depression, jealousy, addiction sits there, fear, and insecurity. The solar plexus chakra is located just above the navel. It symbolizes physical and emotional power, identity, and sense of purpose. Symptoms of a blockage there are digestion issues, feeling of powerlessness, aggressive, controlling behavior, anger, insecurity, lack of willpower, fatigue, and neediness. And when I'm doing a Reiki session on someone, I feel like we hold a lot of our trauma in the solar plexus chakra. So opening that up and doing some clearing work there is very beneficial. The heart chakra, it's located in the chest, symbolizes empathy, love, knowledge, peace, and emotions. Symptoms of a blockage There's probably more than this, but hypertension, cardiovascular problems, pain in chest, lacking empathy, feeling withdrawn, antisocial, demanding, and overly critical. Also, I find with this chakra, like we have to open this chakra. We have to work on it to find joy again. I feel like a lot of people, as we age, we kind of lose that happiness, joy feeling, and it's hard to get that back. Throat chakra, located in your neck, symbolizes expression, communication, speaking your truth. Symptoms of a blockage are lack of control over speech, trouble listening, headaches, sore throat, difficulty sharing feelings or emotions with others, and shyness. Your third eye chakra is located in the center of your forehead, symbolizes perception, intuition, and wisdom. Symptoms of a blockage, feeling stuck in the day-to-day grind, not listening to your inner guidance, lost sense of direction, narrow-minded, feeling disconnected from others. I like this, not listening to your inner guidance, because once you kind of start opening up a little bit, or like I do a lot of meditating. So meditating, you really learn what your body needs and who you are. Okay, and the last one of these seven is the crown chakra. It's located at the top of your head, symbolizes clarity, connection to the universe, spiritual wisdom. Symptoms of a blockage, nerve pain, insomnia, depression, Alzheimer's, headaches, migraines, and feeling disconnected spiritually. Okay, so what to expect during a Reiki session? Everybody has different expectations and everybody leaves feeling different, but many people feel a wonderful glowing feeling that flows through and surrounds them. As the Reiki energy encourages one to let go of all tension, anxiety, fear, or other negative feelings, a state of peace, relaxation, and well-being is experienced. Some people may feel sensations such as tingling, pins and needles, hot and cold sensations in their body, and some people may fall asleep. At the end of the treatment, you're going to feel more grounded, relaxed, and connected to yourself. Reiki will bring more balance to your life and leave you feeling connected. So depending on who your Reiki practitioner was, like I don't talk during a session, a lot of people do. And I don't. I write a lot during a session when someone's here. I'll write down what I'm feeling and we talk after the session, but I like people to be able to try to get into a meditative state on the table on their own, because I feel like if you're waiting for somebody to talk to you, you're never fully relaxed. So, I mean, I've gone to people who talk the whole time. Some people don't chat after. I like to go through everything I wrote down after the session. Reiki for the caregiver. Many problems can arise when caregiving. Family members need to make their own health and well-being a priority. Also, caregivers are able to provide better care to their loved ones when they take better care of themselves. These are the reasons why the notion of self-care is widely discussed in relation to caregivers. Caregivers can use Reiki healing energy as one method of focusing on their mental, physical, and spiritual health. Related to caregivers facing burnout, studies have found that Reiki has benefited healthcare workers with burnout. A study in the journal Biological Research for Nursing found that Reiki sessions offered immediate physiological effects that suggested the treatment affected the parasympathetic nervous system in the participants. The researchers noted that this reaction showed Reiki may encourage relaxation in this population of people. Signs of burnout. Oh, well, these are some of them. There's many more, but headache, muscle tension, trouble with sleep patterns, feeling overwhelmed, frustrated and unfulfilled, sense of apathy or over complaining, and feeling depleted after work. So Reiki is based on these principles. So they like you to say these principles every day. Like some people do a meditation or some kind of mantra every day. And this is the Reiki one. So it's just for today, I release angry thoughts. Just for today, I release thoughts of worry. Just for today, I am grateful. Just for today, I expand my consciousness. Just for today, I will be kind to every living thing. So I'm just kind of going to go through those a little bit because just for today, I release angry thoughts. It's normal to feel angry sometimes. This emotion can be triggered by many scenarios, like dealing with a rude coworker or getting cut off in traffic. But according to Reiki, anger doesn't come from these outside events. Instead, it stems from angry energy already within you. This principle aims to help you release this energy. It encourages you to recognize anger and let it go, allowing you to invite happiness into your life. Just for today, I release thoughts of worry. Many of us worry about things that haven't happened yet. And while it's easy to feel like that worry comes from an external source, Reiki maintains that it starts from within. If you are holding on to worry energy, thinking about future events can produce negative emotions. However, if you're able to release this energy, you may have an easier time living in the present moment and worrying less about the future. Just for today, I am grateful. This is a reminder to express gratitude for all that you have. By slowing down and recognizing the good in your life, it may help you foster more positive energy. Just for today, I expand my consciousness. By working honestly, respectfully, and with gratitude ensures you're treating others with the same way you would like to be treated. It extends to bringing passion into your work and into your life, even into a mundane task. This principle reminds us that each step is a part of our journey and aligns with our purpose. The energy we bring into whatever we are doing will magnify and to always approach a task being of service. Just for today, we'll be kind to every living thing. This principle focuses on how being kind to others lets you receive positive energy in return. It includes being gentle with yourself. You can use Reiki principles as mantras to help guide your thoughts and actions each day. According to Reiki practitioners, this is believed to promote personal growth, helping you live a healthier, more fulfilling, and balanced life. Okay, let's see what's next. Okay, I think that's everything. If there's any, oh, before I go, I just wanted to talk a little bit about what you can do to not let other people's energy attach itself to you. Like we go through our day and we pick up on energy while we're at the grocery store, at work, at home. We're holding on to lots of people's energy all day long. And you can take 5 minutes in the morning or in the evening, like whenever you feel like it. It doesn't have to be a ritual where you sit at the same time every day for 30 minutes. But if you just kind of ground yourself, center yourself, and shield yourself, and you don't have to do it all at the same time. You don't have to, like, whenever you feel like it, even if you're out and you feel like you can't handle one more thing throughout the day, because if somebody comes to you, if you're a child or your spouse or your parent comes to you and needs one more thing, you're going to crack. That's time you need to ground yourself. You need to picture yourself sitting and being grounded with the earth, centering yourself. By centering yourself, like just picture this scenario with me. You go to work every day, all day long, you're interacting with students, parents, coworkers. You do your best to go above and beyond, helping everybody. You wear a winning smile and maintain a peppy attitude as you interact with dozens of people throughout your day. More than once, you've come across an upset parent or coworker who's grumpy with you and generally unpleasant. By the end of the day, you're physically and mentally exhausted, and you want nothing more than to sit in front of the TV with your pajamas on and a snack. Like, I think that sounds familiar to so many people. And if you can learn to center yourself and not hold on to other people's energy, you won't come home depleted like that. So how to shield yourself is just, it's all just in meditation. So if you give yourself a minute of meditating and you just picture yourself with a shield around your body where you're not letting anybody else's energy attach to you, it doesn't take long, and it definitely makes a difference at the end of your day. So if you're interested in anything like that, you can look it up, you can Google it, you can message me if you want, I can answer you. But short meditations like that, and setting an intention to ground yourself, shield yourself, or center yourself will make a crazy difference in your day. Okay, I think that's everything, Melissa.
Thank you very much. Great presentation. I think a lot of good information for our community and our caregivers and just everybody in general in the holiday season. I'm just looking to see if we have any questions loading right now. It looks like we don't. So I'll flip it over to Janet. And Karen, are you with us till about 2 o'clock, just in case we get questions?
Yep, I'll still be here till about 5 to 2.
Okay, perfect. So if we do see any questions filtering in, then we can flip them over to you. But now I would like to introduce our second presenter, the lovely Janet Hayward, and she is going to be talking to us about the benefits of drumming as holistic therapy. And Janet, it's all yours.
Okay, how do I flip this? Oh, there we go. Okay. And to switch slides, uh, just, okay. Well,
You figured it out? You got it?
I just want to go back to the beginning because I must have clicked. Okay.
Yeah, just use your arrows. Good job.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, nice to be here. Thank you, Melissa. If you haven't already grabbed a drum or something that you can use as a drum, like a bucket, or I've got a giant water jug here beside me, anything at all around your house that you can use as a small percussion instrument, you might want to go do that now, or you can just use your own body as percussion when we come to that section at the end of my presentation. I want to start by saying that I'm not a certified music therapist. I'm a drumming ambassador, someone who's had a passion for drumming for over 20 years and has experienced the benefits of drumming firsthand. I've witnessed them in others, and I've heard other people describe what drumming has done for them. I've been to workshops and conferences on the topic of the benefits of drumming, and I've read studies about drumming's benefits. And this is the background from which I come to share some information with you today. Studies of the therapeutic benefits of music have been around for over 50 years, and the subject's only growing as a topic of interest. If you Google the benefits of drumming, you'll be inundated with articles as the topics become so much more mainstream. So mainstream, in fact, that, for instance, the Royal Victoria Hospital in Barrie has had 2 drum circles, one for inpatients, one for outpatients. And then there was a third one offered as at their residential drug and alcohol rehabilitation program. And I've experienced that one as a community member too. The topic of the benefits of drumming is so mainstream that the University of Toronto's Faculty of Medicine, through their School of Continuing Studies, has offered conferences that I've attended called Drumming and Percussion for Health and Rehabilitation. Medical professionals and facilitators of drumming sessions came together in interactive workshops, engaging participants in drumming, so that medical practitioners could experience firsthand how drumming can be used as a complementary therapy to benefit people with different conditions. It's used with cancer patients, people with Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, hospice residents, the list goes on. And the benefits of drumming, which were once a subject only of anecdotal observations, are now documented in peer-reviewed medical journals. And it's some of those studies that I want to begin with before giving you a little taste of drumming. Just looking for the arrow.
So I'm controlling the PowerPoint so I can change the slides.
Thanks. What makes drumming considered a holistic therapy is that it improves the well-being of the whole person, body, mind, and soul. It affects you on a psychological level, emotional, cognitive, physical, and social level, benefiting you in all of those respects. It's not responding to my arrow. The research is so abundant now that there are even studies that specifically involve ALS patients. Here's one from the publication ALS News Today from 2016. Its purpose was to, excuse me, investigate the effect of active music therapy on the psychological aspects of the disease, including anxiety, depression, and diminished quality of life. Early music therapy was more passive, involving listening, but as it progressed, it involved more interactive music making on the part of the participants in a setting that connected them with others doing the same thing, as you can see depicted in this photo. And although you don't see drums in this photo, they were involved in the study. The outcomes were very positive. The music therapy patients improving significantly in their perception of their quality of life. To determine that, tool was used to measure that improvement. It was the McGill Quality of Life Questionnaire, which asks patients on a scale of 1 to 10 how they've been feeling about a variety of things in their lives over the previous 2 days. For instance, the degree to which they've been bothered by physical symptoms, whether they've experienced any depression or fear of the future, how they feel about the meaningfulness and purposefulness of life, as well as their achievement of life goals, the worthwhileness of life, the degree of control they have over their own lives, how good they feel about themselves as a person, whether they see life as a gift or a burden, whether the world feels caring and responsive to their needs, and whether they have felt supported. And then after those questions, the questionnaire ends with a written section where they're asked to describe what things had the greatest effect on their quality of life in the past 2 days. And from all of that feedback that was collected, as I say, significant improvements were found in the patients that received this music therapy that involved drumming. Okay, the next study was the subject of a blog post from the ALS Association. I've quoted some excerpts on the left from the article. The benefits of music are not merely emotional. Research has shown that it can help reduce anxiety, blood pressure, and pain, as well as improve sleep quality, mood, mental alertness, and memory. And by now, I assume you're all wanting to try drumming. For people living with ALS, both listening to and playing music can be beneficial to mental health and wellness and can provide an important connection to family, friends, and community. Music can help improve quality of life for people with ALS and their families. This article recognizes that as ALS progresses, the ability to participate by playing and creating music can become more challenging with the loss of motor function. But the benefits of listening to music are available at all stages of the disease. At the local hospice, where we have wellness drumming sessions twice a month, we've had people come who chose to just sit back and listen as the drumming is done around them. Thank you. Next. This next article cites a study that found rhythm helps the brain to remember, as well as cue movements. All of the participants in this study rated the experience as an enjoyable one, as well as easy to do. The researchers note the use of musical cues for physical movement tends to have the effect of minimizing the perception of exertion. This harkens back to the origin of traditional uses of drumming in West African villages during field work, when groups of drummers accompanied the workers doing the tilling of the soil, planting of the seeds, and harvesting of the crop. Tasks that could seem quite onerous were it not for the rhythm section at the side of the field, making them want to fall into sync with them. You probably have noticed it in your own household life too. If you're doing something as simple as like, a chore like vacuuming, maybe you put earbuds in and you're listening to music, and just the pleasureful sensation of the music as you're doing something that could seem like exertion that is, not so pleasant, then is made pleasant for the presence of the music that you're involved in. Next. These are excerpts quoted from that same article. Loss of natural communication is considered one of the worst aspects of ALS. Well, to address that, one of drumming's best assets is that it's a form of nonverbal communication. It's a universal language. It's an extension of yourself, a way to express selfhood. Even if you're playing the same rhythm as other drummers, your drum or other instrument that you're using has a unique voice. Patients with dysphagia report social isolation, fear, and decreased mental health. Well, a benefit of group drumming is that it bonds participants, creates a feeling of community as people co-create rhythm together, reducing those feelings of social isolation. Depression is prevalent in ALS. Well, the physical act of drumming releases natural chemicals and hormones that are known to lift mood: dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. Your emotional state is buoyed by these feel-good hormones. Next. There's anecdotal evidence that music therapy increases mind-body connection and reduces distressing physical symptoms such as dyspnea and pain, as well as associated feelings of loneliness, anxiety, and sadness for patients with advanced ALS. And yet another quote from that previous article: it's further suggested that music therapy is pleasant and restorative for people with ALS who have tracheostomy and for their families. It provides families affected by ALS with opportunities for shared, meaningful activities. Active music therapy increased communication, improved quality of life, and decreased the physical symptoms of the disease for participants during hospital stay. Music-assisted relaxation may be a useful strategy to optimize the non-invasive ventilation experience for people with ALS. Albeit currently underused, music therapy could be one of the modalities of supportive rehabilitation in ALS, potentially providing multiple benefits for people with ALS and their families. And I really like the broad reach of these quotations, focusing not just on the people with ALS themselves directly, but all of the people that they come into contact with in their lives, that this can improve quality of life for all who are touched by it. Next. This slide just reviews what we've already covered now about the social benefits of group drumming. You see a couple of images here of groups that I facilitate at my local hospice, Matthew's House in Alliston, where we hold twice monthly wellness drumming sessions for clients, caregivers, staff, volunteers, and community members at large. And occasionally we have special sessions for various support groups. Most recently, the Parkinson's support group. And you see over on the right-hand side, that's a drumming session that I facilitated with the men's support group there. And it definitely is something I've seen at work that is capable of reducing social isolation through this sense of bonding and belonging through the group making rhythm together. Next. Okay, so here's a 1-minute video, if you're able to play it, by Dr. Oliver Sacks. Go ahead. I don't see the play button, so there may be an issue. If it doesn't work, don't worry about it. We'll just skip over that. I'm not sure why it's not.
I should get it to work if everybody can see my screen.
Yep, we can see your screen. Thank you.
Okay. I don't know about your screen. I don't hear sound.
There's no sound.
Well, let me try it one more time.
Not to worry. Like I said, we can just skip over that.
Okay, I'll just drop the link in the chat if everybody wants to take a
Okay,
look.
that's fine. It's only a minute long. Okay, next then. So in this graph, you see brainwave patterns that can be measured by electroencephalograms. And when applied to people before and after drumming, measurements of brainwaves show an increased frequency of alpha pattern brainwaves. And these are the ones associated with feelings of well-being and euphoria. So there's a very logical and scientific explanation as to why people feel so relaxed after they've been drumming. Next. Drumming also lowers levels of cortisol, something that can be measured through urinalysis, blood tests, or saliva tests. Again, when measured before and after drumming, lower levels of cortisol, which is associated with stress, are found after drumming. High levels of cortisol also lower your immunity and can cause depression and anxiety and lead to higher levels of inflammation. All reasons why you would be benefited through a lowering of your cortisol level if it's too high. Drumming is also considered to boost the immune system by increasing white blood cells, which also can be measured before and after the drumming experience. And those are cells which are, naturally present in our bodies to help us fight off all sorts of different infections. So that's another benefit that we derive from drumming. Thank you. Next. We can skip this one. It's just an elaboration on the last one. To the extent that participants have control over their motor function, and obviously that's going to differ in ALS according to what stage of the disease a person is at, it can improve mobility, its circulation, and eye, ear, and hand coordination. Next. It's also good for the heart. If people who have high blood pressure, when blood pressure measurements have been taken before and after drumming, there has been notice of a significant decrease. So, and there's a citation at the end there. I've got 5 pages of references at the end of the slideshow that if anyone wants to pursue further reading to see where this information has come from, you can check the documentation. Thank you. Next. Now, psychological benefits. You see an image there of the monkey mind, that part of ourselves that sometimes infuriates us by letting worries take over our thoughts, of the worries of the past, the future. There's a lot of chatter that goes on, but drumming induces a greater state of inner peace and meditation because it focuses you on the here and now. It induces mindfulness. It's very meditative, reduces depression and anxiety, improves resiliency, and that rewarding sense of discovery that you get when you learn new rhythms and you find yourself, able to do things with your instrument that you haven't done before, enhances self-esteem. Next. There are cognitive benefits. Again, MRI imaging is a tool that's used in this field of research, showing what areas of the brain light up when different areas are engaged. We can see that in drumming, multiple areas of the brain are engaged. It exercises memory through recall of rhythmic patterns, and there's mathematical knowledge involved in drumming as well, which benefits one's participation in this activity. Next. Emotional benefits. It's a good outlet for some of the negative emotions that people can have as, you know, a side effect of having ALS and other conditions too. There can be anger, aggression, frustration, and a lack of feeling of self-control. Drumming is an outlet for releasing those feelings. I attended a session at that drug and alcohol rehabilitation residential program I was talking about in Barrie that offers drum sessions for clients as well as members of the community at large, the latter capacity in which I was attending the session. And I remember at the end of the circle, people were asked as we went around to see what people thought of the experience. One individual said that if he hadn't participated in that night's drumming with the rest of us, he was feeling so angry and frustrated that he would have put his hand through a wall, he was sure. But this drumming experience lifted his feelings. It buoyed his spirits. We talked about, the chemical reaction that actually occurs as you're drumming, those positive neurotransmitters that are released, and they channeled those negative feelings into a very positive experience instead. That dopamine release, the oxytocin associated with social bonding, serotonin, and endorphins, which also have the additional benefit of reducing perception of pain. All good things to come of the experience. Next. So, in conclusion, it's just fun. It relieves boredom, and it's a creative way to express yourself without language barriers, which can be very important in the case of people with ALS. One of the best things is that so many of these benefits of drumming happen without your even being aware of them while they're happening. You're not thinking of, oh, gee, so glad my cortisol level is lowering, or that, my alpha brain waves are increasing. They're just happening. And what you think about at the end of a drum session is that you've had a lot of fun and you feel really good. And it didn't feel like medicine. Yet drumming is unquestionably holistic medicine. And on that note, now I'd like to turn on my video here and have a little practical session with people who have instruments at hand, or you can just sit back and listen and watch like we talked about before. So I have a djembe here, and I'm going to use a recording that I've made just as a little background to play along with of some folks that were having a drum jam. I've also got here just a sample of what else you can use. Just a big old water jug. This is one of my favorite things to drum on. Just turn it upside down and drum on the base of it. Just get creative and use some things that you might have around the house. Or like I said, you can even just use your body for percussion. All sorts of parts of your body can be used if you don't have a drum or a small percussion instrument. I've also got some other little toys that I'll bring out and use as I play this. I'll turn it down so that you can hear me talk over part of it. It's only 3.5 minutes long, this backing track, so that you can get a sense of how we use drumming in a group situation. So I'll just start this now.
Battery 100%. Connected to Janet Hayward's iPhone 2.
So what you hear there is just a simple background beat. We're just using the heartbeat. Heartbeat. So a person could participate in this circle by just keeping down the foundation heartbeat. And that connects all of us in the circle. And then you hear a little experimentation going on as people are improvising, co-creating rhythm together. They're having a dialogue across the circle from each other. Well, always we have that heartbeat in the middle, connecting everyone, but you've got some embellishments being added. One person will pick out a little pattern and play it on their drum, and then you hear a response across the circle from somebody else. And then we use other instruments too. Not everybody's capable of drumming. They can't hold the drum. So we have other small percussion instruments that people use too. Whatever they feel moved to in the moment, where they feel that it fits in. Certain takes very complicated skills to participate. Try to keep it easy and accessible.
Janet, can we get you to come a little bit closer so we can hear some of the instruments? We just can't hear any of the instruments.
Oh no.
Yeah, I know. We would love to hear it. So if you just want to maybe get a little bit closer, turn up your volume, especially so we can hear you drumming. I mean, you look wonderful doing it. We would just love to hear the sound.
Sorry. That is the end of the practical demonstration. Sorry that you couldn't hear it. I just assumed that the volume was going to be sufficient.
Thank you. That's okay. Are you done your presentation?
That is it. I just want to invite people to explore drumming as a complementary therapy then for general wellness of one's whole being. It's an excellent holistic therapy. Thank you.
Well, thank you very, very much. I'm sorry that we couldn't figure out the sound. I would have loved to hear that. We have a quiet group today. We don't have any questions that have come in. So I will invite anyone who has any questions at a later date. Please feel free to reach out to either of the presenters. As I mentioned, we will have both of these presentations uploaded to our resource library so people can reference them at a different date. And also, if you want to look in the chat box, Janet did provide a video that we were unable to hear. So if you do want to look at that, it is in the chat box and you can play that. It is a YouTube video. So I'd like to thank Janet and Karen for taking the time today to come out and do the presentation. We're going to wrap it up if I don't see any more questions, which I don't, so that's okay. Thank you very much, Janet. Thank you very much, Karen. And I wish everyone a very warm and safe holiday season. And please reach out to myself, Melissa Van Tile, if you have any questions or concerns regarding this webinar. Okay? Thank you all.
Thank you.